Okay, so for this tutorial, I'm going to talk about vocal processing and also a little bit about vocal chopping. And I figured the best way to do it is to go through one of my own songs and just show you exactly what I do. And here's what we're going to be going through today, so you can take a listen.
I need just a moment to breathe, just a moment to say more clearly. I need just a little more time, just a little more time to heal out these scars and walk freely.
Okay, so I'm going to try and run through this relatively quickly because there's a lot and I don't want to make the video too long, too boring. But starting off, you're going to notice that I don't just have one vocal track here. I've actually got, this is just lead vocals here, and I think there's about 6 tracks there. And then there's background vocals here, and there's about 7 or 8 tracks there. And then I've got these other vocals down here, and then even more over there. So there's probably like 15 to 20 vocal tracks in this song, and a lot of times to get the big pop vocal sound, you need to double and you need to layer things. And what I mean by layering them isn't, some people will try and copy and paste to get a fuller sound, and that doesn't work. You need to actually, in the studio, when I have Charity here, we'll lay down like this lead vocal track, and then right after she gets done recording that, we'll lay down a second one that's exactly the same and put it under it to thicken up the vocal sound.
I need just a moment to breathe.
So there's 2 of them in there that's giving it that nice thick sound. It's used a lot of times in pop music, and you can pan it left and right. Like I have it panned here in the harmonies.
Moment to breathe, moment to say.
So yeah, that's the first thing that you should know when you're recording and processing vocals. Alright, next I'm going to go through the plugins that I actually have on the track, as far as the compression goes and everything. The first thing that I have on here, here's just the dry vocal.
I need just a moment to breathe.
The first thing I have on it is compression. This is my favorite compressor to use on vocals. It's the Waves Renaissance Vox, or the RVox. Now I have the compression here at -9.7, and I have the gain reduced. Now your settings are going to vary from song to song, so you can't just copy these settings because they're different in everything that I have. But yeah, basically the only thing, I love this compressor because it's super simple and sounds great. But when you're compressing, you just want to make, and you, especially when you have layered vocals, you want to make sure that you are reducing the gain over here. So that's the first plugin that I have. Second is a de-esser, and this is just to get out the sibilants, you know, the harsh S's and T sounds. And this is most important, well, not most important, but I hear a lot of mistakes when people are processing vocals. The biggest thing with EQ, this is the Waves Renaissance EQ6, and the biggest thing is to make sure you have a low cut right around here. This is at 269 hertz, but that's to get all the low end out, and it's especially important when you're getting like a trancey vocal or like a real ethereal sound. And then I just have it boosted around here, around 5K, you know, between 5 and 6K. You can see I have these vocals in a group, the lead vocals group. So I also have plugins on the group altogether, and I have an additional EQ plug-in right here, and another compressor to kind of glue everything together, and then a limiter to just kind of also glue it together and you know, bring them up. And I put ozone on it. I think I was trying to get out some more syllabants that the de-esser didn't catch, but that's that's not something I usually do. But yeah, here's how these vocals sound all together.
I need just a moment to breathe, just a moment to say more clearly.
Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is using delay and reverb. First off, what you do not want to do is put the delay or reverb directly onto the track, because what this is going to do is kill the original signal and kind of drown your track in reverb and delay. You want to use a return track, or in Logic, I think it's called an aux track. I know in Pro Tools, use an aux track, but in Ableton they're called return tracks. And I'm going to turn all of these off right now, except for the ones that I'm talking about. So you can see here I have this lead group, and I have it routed to this reverb down here. So here's what it sounds like with just the reverb on it.
Just a moment to breathe, just a moment.
And on this reverb down here, I'm using the Waves Renaissance reverb, or the Reverb, and you can see I have it 100% wet. Sexual jokes welcome at this time. But basically, you can't put it 100% wet when it's directly onto your track. So here's just that reverb track alone. Next is some delay, and a lot of times I'll use 2 or 3 different delays on a vocal for effects, like one I'll show you in a second. But the first simple delay that I have on here is just the Ableton simple delay, and you can see the settings that I've got down here, and then I have a filter on it just to kind of give it like an airy echo kind of sound, and then I just have it compressed to bring it up a little bit. So here's how it sounds.
Just a moment to breathe, just a moment to say.
Another thing that I've done is I wanted to emphasize certain words, so I've automated a delay and the way that this sends it to the delay. And so with this one down here, I have this going to this filter delay, which is D. And I just want to emphasize these words, so it's only going to put delay on those words. So ready?
Just a moment to breathe, just a moment to say more clearly.
So that's the basic gist and my thought process when I'm going through vocals. I have these other groups down here, and basically they're just separate groups because I wanted them to sound a little bit different, and you know, I might have put a different reverb on them or EQ'd them a little bit differently to give them to make them stand out, like these background vocals.
Oh, I need just a little more time to think.
And then there's this group down here, I call it the distant vocals, where I did put the reverb directly onto the vocal group instead of using a return track, because I wanted that effect of making it sound, you know, really far away. And here's how it sounds. The last thing I want to talk about is a little bit about vocal chopping. And there's really not a whole lot to it. I get a lot of questions about my vocal chopping, and it's one of the simplest things that I do. People ask if I use like a MIDI processing or anything, but all I do is I just chop stuff and I put it on the grid. For example, this part right here, I just chopped it really tight. A lot of times it's really annoying to chop up 6 vocal tracks at the same time. So what I'll do is I'll just solo the vocal tracks and export them into one, So I just have one stereo acapella, and I'll use that to chop up, like I did for this part. And you can hear, like for things like this, it's basically just like one or two vocal clips and just different notes. And sometimes I transpose them. If you look down here in the clip editor, you can see the various clips. This one's, you know, up one semitone. This one's down -2 semitones. I don't use any MIDI or a keyboard or anything. All I'm doing is I'm copying and clicking and pasting them to the grid. Okay, last thing I want to say is just thank you to you guys. I know a lot of people find my music through my tutorials, and I just hit over 10,000 fans on Facebook. So I made this thing, and I posted a picture on Facebook. It's got some of our inside jokes on it, like poop on a stick right here. I'm seeing a lot of comments now of people saying that I'm not going to make any more tutorials now that I'm blowing up or whatever. But I'm going to do my best to try and keep making tutorials. I'm going to make another one today, and I'm also going to try and do some more live streaming so I can just take and answer your questions directly rather than trying to respond to every single comment on here. And I always announce that on my Facebook or my Twitter, so follow me there. Thank you guys again so much for all the support. I got a lot of big things happening right now, new music, new remixes, new shows around the country. So stay tuned, and until the next tutorial, peace.